Okay, so you've probably seen this map before. Trump gets 312 electoral votes to Biden's 226. But what if I said that this is not most likely going to happen in the 2024 election? In this video, I'm going to be giving my 2024 presidential election prediction, and I'm going to back it up with data. Make sure you guys stick around to the end because there's going to be some big surprises. So with that said, let's get into it. First, we're going to fill in the safe states for Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So we're going to start with Joe Biden. These are the safe states that I'm predicting that Joe Biden or Donald Trump will win by more than 12 points. So we're going to start on the West Coast. I'm predicting that Joe Biden's going to win California, Oregon, Washington, and Hawaii on the West Coast. And then we go a little more to the east, and we have Illinois. And then we go to the northeast, and we have Vermont, Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, along with Maine's 1st Congressional District and New York. Now we're going to go to the safe states for Donald Trump. I'm predicting that he's going to win Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska at large, along with Nebraska's 1st and 3rd Congressional District, Kansas, Oklahoma, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia, along with Alaska. These are going to be the safe states for Donald Trump in the 2024 election. So that would put the safe electoral votes for Trump at 148 electoral votes, and for Biden, 167. So these states and districts are going to be more competitive in the 2024 election, but not all of them are going to be battlegrounds. So now we're going to go to the likely states. The likely states are the states that are going to be decided by 6 to 12 points. So we're going to start off with Joe Biden, with his likely states. So the first state that I'm going to categorize for Biden as a likely state is New Jersey. Now you might be surprised that I didn't put this in the safe column. You might look back at 2020 and see that Biden actually won New Jersey by 16 points. But New Jersey has become increasingly more Republican. In 2021, New Jersey almost elected a Republican governor to the state, and the voter registration has become not so good for the Democrats. This updated voting record right here shows that Democrats only outnumber Republicans by about 934,000 voters, which is a lot. But if you look back at a couple of years ago, Democrats actually outnumber Republicans by like over 1 million voters. So this state is becoming more Republican. Now, I don't think this is going to become a battleground state. I do think it's going to become more competitive, though, along with Joe Biden's unpopularity in the state. So I do think that he's still going to be able to win it easily, but he's only going to win it by a likely margin because it is becoming more Republican. So that is the first state that I have as a likely state for Biden. Now, we're going to go to the second state that I have as a likely state for Biden. That's Virginia. Now, Virginia really shifted a lot to the left in the 2020 election. And in 2016, Virginia only went for Biden by 5 points. But then you look at 2020, it actually went for Biden by 10 points, which is a big shift. And I'm going to show you the change from 2016 in Virginia. So this map shows how the state really trended from the last election. And you can see in this Nova area right in Virginia, this became a lot more Democratic. And some of the roles became more Republican, but this mass blue shift in the northern part of the state really made it a lot a more of a Democratic state. For this reason, it's still going to be a likely state. I do think that Biden will win it by 7 to 8 points, but nevertheless, that is a likely margin. Then we go to Colorado. Now, Colorado has been turning left off a cliff in recent elections, and in 2020 Biden won the state by 13 points, which is actually a safe margin for him. Really, the reason why Colorado shifted so much to left was because of the bleeding that Republicans had in Denver and the Denver metro area, and they basically lost ground everywhere in the state. They lost a lot of ground over here. I'm gonna have this as a likely state, not a safe state, because it is a more GOP friendly year. So that's why I do have this one as a likely margin and not a safe margin. And then we have New Mexico. Also, New Mexico did become a lot more Democratic. It shifted about 4 or 5 points to the left from 2016. A lot to do with Albuquerque and Santa Fe. So I'm also going to have that as a likely margin because Hispanics are becoming more Republican. And New Mexico is actually a Hispanic majority state. And because of their shift to the right, I actually have this as a likely state for Biden and not a safe state. Now there's actually one more state that I have to categorize in the likely margin for Biden, and that is Maine. So Maine actually voted for Biden by 9 points, and I do think it's probably going to be like about that margin in 2020. It's been a Democratic state for a long time, and I don't see that changing in the 2024 election, even though it is a more GOP friendly year. So I do have that as a likely state for Joe Biden. Now we're going to go to the likely states for Donald Trump. So we're going to start with Texas. Now, Texas has been a state that has been trending more Democratic in recent years. Donald Trump only won the state by 6 points. Now, because of Hispanics turning to the Republicans, especially in the Rio Grande Valley, I do think that it's going to become a more Republican state. Donald Trump's probably going to win this by 9 to 10 points, but nevertheless, that is a likely margin. Then you go to Florida. This is going to also be a likely state. In 2022, Republicans had a red wave year, and they didn't have it across the whole nation. But in Florida, they did have a red wave. Up and down the ballot, Republicans just did very well. Ron DeSantis won by 19 points in a state that just 2 years prior only voted for the Republican candidate by 3 points, and it was a major outperformance for Republicans. But it is a presidential year, and the Democratic turnout in 2022 was abysmal, and so I do believe it's going to be a likely state, not a safe state. So that is also going to be a likely state for Trump. So I have one more likely district, Maine 2nd congressional district. This district voted for Trump by 6 points. I do believe it's probably going to be about the same. I haven't done too much research into Maine 2nd congressional district. It is a Trump-friendly district, and polling has been showing that Trump is up by a big margin. So I have this also as a likely district for Trump. Now I'm going to go to the lean states. The lean states are the states that I'm predicting Biden or Trump will win in between 3 to 6 points. So we're going to start with North Carolina. North Carolina has been a battleground state for a long time, but Trump won this state both in 2016 and in 2020. Polling has been showing that Trump is up by a lot in North Carolina. Now, I don't think he's going to win it by a likely margin or something like that. I do think it's going to be close, but I do think he's going to be able to win it by about 5 to 6 points. And the other state that I also have as a lean margin for Trump is Georgia. Now, Georgia actually went for Biden by less than a percentage point back in 2020. Polling is just showing that Trump is up by so much, and Democrats don't really have the resources. They really don't have the money, and they have to drive out the black turnout. And right now, the black turnout is not really good. The black community is becoming more favorable to Trump in recent polls, and so even though Biden did win this state, I do think Trump is going to be able to flip Georgia back into his column by a lean margin. Then we're going to go to the lean states for Biden. I'm predicting that Biden is going to win New Hampshire by a lean margin. Joe Biden won New Hampshire by 7.5 points. But I do think that he's going to do a little bit worse in New Hampshire. I do think he's still going to be able to win it by about 5 to 6 points. So I also have this as a lean Democrat state. Then we have Minnesota. Minnesota went for Biden by 7 points, and this state has a record of being a Democrat state. It hasn't voted for a Republican candidate since 1972, the longest streak of any Democratic state. Now, I do think it's going to be close. The Trump campaign has shown signs that it is going to compete in Minnesota. I do think that Biden will still be able to win it by about 4 to 5 points. So I also have this as a lean state for Biden. Now, these states are going to be the closest in the 2024 election. There's going to be some surprises in this that you might not be expecting, but I'm also going to prove out with data. So we're going to start with Arizona. This state, I have Trump winning by a tilt margin. Now, Arizona, it has become a more Democratic state, and in past elections, Democrats have done very well in Arizona. Now, the reason I do have Arizona as a tilt state for Trump is because of the polling out of Arizona right now. The polling out of Arizona has been disastrous for Biden. You can see that Trump is up by 5.2 points, and that would actually be a lean margin for Trump. Now, also abortion is on the ballot, and abortion has been a winning issue for Democrats. So that is why I have Arizona as a tilt margin for Trump. Now we have Nevada. I'm also predicting that Nevada is gonna be a tilt state for Trump because the polling in Nevada has just been very, very convincing for Trump, and I know the polling in Nevada has underestimated Democrats in past elections, but right now, if we take a look at Nevada's polls, Trump is up by 6.2 points, and he's just up by so much. I do not think Biden's gonna be able to win. And Adam Laxalt came close to unseating Catherine Cortez Masto, who is a fairly popular senator in Nevada. And they also elected a Republican governor in Nevada. And that is why I have this as a tilt state for Donald Trump. Wisconsin is going to also be a tilt state for Donald Trump. Now, the reason why I have Wisconsin as a tilt state for Donald Trump has largely to do with the Arab population and the Palestinian people in Wisconsin. Now, Biden has lost a lot of support among the Arab American community because of his stance on Gaza, and this has really hurt him. And they have started to vote uncommitted in the primaries, and the uncommitted vote in Wisconsin surpassed Biden's margin of victory in 2020 because of this. These Arab Americans are deciding to stay at home. I do think that this one is going to go to Donald Trump, and because it's a more Trump favoring year. And then I have Nebraska's second district. Polling out of Nebraska has shown that Trump is up in Nebraska's second district. It did get redistricted to be more Republican friendly, and that's also why I have that as a tilt district for Trump. Then we have Michigan and Pennsylvania. So I actually have Biden winning both of these states. These were the ones I was saying that are going to be big surprises because right now Trump is up in both of these states' polling averages. But I do think that because of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, and because of Detroit and the suburbs of Detroit, and because they have become very left leaning in recent elections, I do think that both of these states are going to tilt for Biden as of right now. And I said I was going to back these up with data, and that's what I'm going to do. In the 2022 election, in Pennsylvania and Michigan, Democrats did very, very well. They, in Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro won his governor's race by 15 points, and Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan won by 10 points. It was a very good midterm for Democrats in Pennsylvania and Michigan. And because of these overperformances in Pennsylvania and Michigan, I do have this as a tilt state for Biden as of right now. So this is my updated prediction. Trump will get 279 electoral votes to Biden's 259 electoral votes. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys hit the like button down below and subscribe. This is where I talk about how Trump has the ability to win in a landslide. So make sure you guys check out this video. I'm going to have it pasted up on this page right here.